Alright, it's T-Jack. Tyler with T-Jack Survival. It is raining, it is nasty, most of my kindling is damp and wet, but I think I'm going to try to start it with a piston fire starter. Let's see how this works out. So my piston fire starter, you got to loosen it up, pull apart. You really need to have a nest first. I have a little juniper bark that I cheated and brought with me because I do that. Kind of a harder chunk. Let's get the softer stuff. Very dusty, which is great. So I've already kind of made a little nest right here. Wow. So there's my little nest, and I'm going to put my piston in, or my piston stuff in. I will pinch it off on each side with the driest piece of stick I can find, which may be kind of relative. So just like that. And I'll just blow right through the middle right there. So, that's set up. Time for Mission Impossible. Got my piston fire starter. A little bit of extra char cloth in here. I made this char cloth on a video a few days ago. If you go to my channel, you'll be able to check it out and find it. This is the same char cloth, and my little girl got a hold of it, so it's in many little pieces. So, pull a pinch off right like that. You really literally only need like a pinch like that, and then I'd fold over these extra little pieces, ram them down on the top, so that it's kind of good to go like that. Now, before you turn this into an ember that you can't touch with your fingers, have your knife close by so that you can use it to put into your little nest. So, always don't forget to tighten that up in the bottom. Put it in. There's my ember. That was magic that it actually worked on the first try. Give it a little more char cloth, but that's not a lot of char cloth. Okay, there's my ember inside of my nest. Need to get a little bit deeper. And then blow in and up. And these sticks on the side are basically going to keep it from burning my fingers, because I don't have a lot of nesting material, because I don't want to use it all up on my first fire. There we go. I have a little wrapper paper here I'm going to use. Use it if you got it, right? It's killing me. That's some smoke. Make sure my flume's open. That was the world's luckiest first time starting piston fire right there. I've got a bunch of dead pine trees, so this should burn hot and fast for a minute, which means I need to fill in with a bunch of little pieces of wood, chips and stuff, that will ignite. Start it up. And now I'm going to get questions, so this is the Bark River Drop Point Hunter. Awesome, awesome bushcraft knife. Awesome Skinner, of course. Also a very awesome bushcraft knife. So all of this stuff's wet. Kind of dead. Not dead enough. Hopefully I can get some of those larger pieces on fire, that way they can dry out the wet stuff. I got hanging wood. Got a dead hanging tree there, but it still had a lot of wet on the outside. This is my little kindling bag. Little waterproof, mostly waterproof bag. I got for like $7 at Blade HQ. And I just keep juniper bark and whatever else, old man's beard, lint, whatever it is, whatever it needs to be. I keep in that and keep it in my bag. That's the secret weapon for starting a fire when it's wet. That and oxygen. Lots and lots of oxygen. In fact, I'm going to give it just a little bit more. Get that burning up a little higher. This is almost like magical grouse or scout gas, scout juice and gas. When you add oxygen to it, it burns really, really surprisingly well. I think I got fire burning in the back I can't see. Yep. These doors are pretty sweet. This little thing is titanium. Super crazy lightweight. Dissipates heat very well, so you stay warm when you're burning. The only downside is it doesn't retain a lot of heat at night, but it's such a positive to not have an 80-pound stove that who cares? Now, as you can see, it's spitting out a little bit of smoke, but as the fire starts to burn, it starts to suck it in there. And it'll be kind of like a vacuum that will pull it inside right there. I don't know if you can see this, but it is the coolest thing. There's got to be, man, I dare say 70 degrees in this tent. When I put my glove up here, it immediately starts sucking the heat off of, or the water out of it. Because it's so warm. Just pulls it in there kind of like a vacuum. all the heat sucks the oxygen and stuff up there. Here's my other glove. You almost immediately see it pulling the steam off of it. This tent, or this stove, is just amazing at heating this tent up. That is really kind of cool. The power to make misty fingers. Yeah, that was dumb, but whatever. Anyway, I think this is just pretty darn awesome. Good way to dry out all my gloves and stuff. Just wish I had a better light. I'm just doing this with a headlamp. Anyway, cool little trick. Right, Ethan? We're here trying out this little stove. Trying not to cook his gloves over there. They're steaming, actually. That's steam. That's not fired, crazy enough. I already dried mine off and put them away. So, tell me about the stove. Aim your headlamp up a little bit. There we go.
A little bit there. Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. Or actually pull it off for a sec.
All right.
There we go. I'll blind you.
Pretty amazed. Like, it's keeping the tent warm enough. We got in here and I had my jacket on and everything, and then as it started to heat up, I was like, I'm pulling a layer off. It's really, really toasty. And you can see, you can put my gloves there for a couple seconds and it starts to pull the moisture right out of them.
See if I can get up there. Okay, go ahead and do it again.
Right like that. I mean, look, that's in a couple of seconds.
Yep.
And it's just pulling the moisture right off. So, I mean, honestly, it's going to be a good night to sleep up here.
So how warm do you think it is in here?
I'd probably say 70s at least. Yeah, I mean, probably 70, 80 degrees.
Yeah.
75.
Sweet. Anything else you want to say about it?
That is a good little stove. I'm actually thinking about getting one myself, one of these tents, because tell you what, you're going to be up in the backcountry, this is the way to go.
And how much do you think the whole thing weighed?
Oh man. When you handed me this, I'd have to say it was probably lighter weight than my hammock and my tarp, and those were about, I'd probably go around like 4 pounds. I don't know. Like, I'm not very good with weight, but I'd probably say right around 4 or 5, like even lighter.
But lighter than a hammock and a tarp.
It was lighter than my hammock and my tarp that I used to carry back when I backpacked a lot.
Yep, that was my first thought. It was mind-boggling. I'm like, holy crap, this titanium stove. Like, I was genuinely concerned that when I got the box, it didn't have the stove in it. I'm like, oh man, I gotta wait for the stove to come, because it was so light. And then I opened it, I'm like, dude, what's this? There's a stove in the back.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy lightweight. I mean, it'd definitely be worth it to have one of these if you're gonna go a lot of backcountry hunting or even just want to go winter camping.
Nice. All right, man. Well, that's our shorty on the titanium Seek Outside stove and 8-man teepee, or as my little girl calls it, the mountain tent. Daddy, it looks like a mountain. Anyway, I need to get some video footage of that top part. Should have taken my shoes off. All right, I'll do that in a sec.
So we've got, looks like some, you know, probably Boy Scout survival shelter or something right here. It looks like it'd be really windy, but it comes down the side of the rock. It goes underneath it. So it doesn't look too cozy, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Say again?
I said, I guess it doesn't look too cozy, but I bet you it's better than nothing.
Yeah. There are better places to put a survival shelter, that's for sure. I mean, it's smart to put it up against the rocks like that, but right on the tip of the peak here,
that wind's coming right up
I'm gonna
over.
freeze your everything off. I'm guessing that's a Boy Scout survival shelter.
One of those things.
You gonna hop there in it?
Yeah, let's see what it's like. It would be a cold night in here. It's funneling the wind.
It's sucking the wind right inside of it?
Sucking the wind right inside of it.
Oh, nasty.
And you can hear it come up over this rock, and it just shoots straight down in.
Nice.
Not where I'd want to be spending my night.
Be a good observation post if you're watching the Afghanis come up the canyon. That's about it. Okay.
So we're up in the mountains in Utah. We've been up here hunting deer and grouse. Got our bows out doing that. Tyler got a shot off at a grouse this morning. And then we flushed. I flushed 2 earlier, and then Tyler and I flushed 2 later on this afternoon. So we're still out trying to see what we can get. We've run into a couple of shelters up here, some random survival shelters, possibly like a deer camp.
So, all right, that's a little fire piston video with a Seek Outdoors tent. Seek Outside, I always say that. Seek Outside tent and titanium stove, which I'm going to use tonight. We're up in the Wasatch Range, probably good 9,000 feet elevation in the 8-man teepee. There's a couple of us here, and anyway, check the channel for a couple more videos. If you like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, please respond. I will respond to you and comment as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.